What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me for another YouTube video discussion. And today, I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Kind of wanted to take some time and think about what to do next because there's been a lot of ideas floating around. But I think that I wanted to talk about the Nintendo Direct. Now, we know that we have a Nintendo Direct coming in June. It's basically been confirmed by the Nintendo president. And we know that by the end of this fiscal year, we're going to have the Switch successor announced, which I think is the key to this whole thing. Because it basically confirms, or at least to me, it suggests, I should say, a lot of stuff that Nintendo's going to do. So, what do I expect from the June Nintendo Direct? Nothing. Not a lot. Because it's really going to depend upon what is going to happen, right? One thing is we know Nintendo usually shows stuff about 3 months out, right? Maybe they'll show stuff to the end of the year, just sort of, we know these games are coming by December, for an example. But I believe that if we're going to be around September, October, November, December, possibly November, December, that we're going to do like we did with the Switch and show off the Switch 2 to then launch it in March, that we're holding off a lot of the games. Like, I can just believe that Nintendo's holding a lot of the games that they want to show off because they're technically Switch 2 games. I mean, they did this before when it came to the Wii U. I mean, Mario Odyssey really should have been a Wii U game. Breath of the Wild was technically a Wii U game. It just got a dual port. I can see Luigi's Mansion and all these other games that came out at launch being Wii U games that they just decided to just hold off and bring them over to Switch 2. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if we have the next Mario already in place. We already have the next whatever game. We have the next Donkey Kong, we have the next Star Fox. And they're just going to be Switch 2 games, and they're just waiting. So what do I think they're going to show? Well, what they've been showing, a bunch of ports. Either Wii U ports, third-party ports, remasters, remakes, whatever. Maybe we'll get something new, but it's probably going to be something small if it's something new. Like, I can imagine probably like something like what we got with Another Code and Fatal Frame, where it's like this game was only in Japan on the Wii, but now we're bringing it over to the Switch. Just something like that, where it's like not really that big of a deal. Maybe we'll finally get the Zelda ports that have been supposedly floating around for years that they're ready to go. So maybe we'll get Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. But I think the key thing that we're going to get is Metroid 4. Metroid Prime 4 is the key because they said it's coming to Nintendo Switch. They said it's coming to Nintendo Switch. And Nintendo being the kind of company that they are, it coming to Nintendo Switch means that it's coming to Nintendo Switch. Just like they said, you are going to get a Zelda on the Wii U. We promise you you're going to get a brand new Zelda on the Wii U. And you did. You got Breath of the Wild. Even though it was technically also a dual port, it was also made for the Switch. They did bring it over to Wii U. So whether Metroid Prime 4 is going to also be a Switch 2, Switch Attach, whatever they end up calling it, whether that's going to be some kind of a dual release, I think that we are going to get Metroid Prime 4. That's the only thing that I can think of that's left to really announce at this Nintendo Direct. Now, I could be completely wrong. And maybe Nintendo can just go nuts and be like, here's all these new IPs. Here's a new Kid Icarus game. Here's, Star Fox. Here's a new, Nano Assault. Here's a new, what was that submarine game? I don't forgot. But anyways, all the stuff that I've been kind of hoping that they would have brought over to the Switch by now. And I'm going to do this video later about top picks for games that I really want to see Nintendo bring back. These older games, these older franchises that haven't really been touched in a while, or something that's just being ignored compared to the audience that they could have. But that's a different video for another time. They could go nuts, and they could announce those games. It's very much possible. But I think that Nintendo will play it safe. And if they have those games ready, they're just going to work on making them better for the Switch successor, moving them up to whatever graphical capabilities that console has, and come out with a large library in the beginning year of the Switch successor, rather than push it all towards the end of the Switch. Does that make sense? Because it just makes sense to do that. It's good business to do that. Why would you want to release all these games on the Switch when you basically have already confirmed that the Switch successor is right around the corner? So people don't really have much of a reason to buy your console anymore, and they probably won't have much of a reason to buy your games anymore. Now, if it's a good game, I'm going to buy it no matter what, because I like playing games on my Switch. That's just how it is. But I am saying that for a newcomer that maybe doesn't have a Switch yet, which why wouldn't you at this point? It's been so long, everybody has a Switch. But even if you have one and you're thinking about buying games for it, why not wait? Like, that's just the logical sense. Like, if I knew that Sony was coming out with a PS6 next year, I would probably contemplate buying PS5 games. Does that make sense? Because it's just like, but what if they just come out with them again in a better version? You know? What if we get The Last of Us for the 5th time? I'm just saying. But you get what I'm saying, where it feels like this is going to be the strategy going forward. But what do you think they're going to show off at this Nintendo Direct? Now, after the Nintendo Direct shows, whenever it shows, I do plan to talk about it and talk about the big reveals that I see from it. But I don't think there's going to be anything major, just Metroid Prime 4. And if we don't see it at Metroid Prime 4 show up at this Nintendo Direct, I think that it pretty much just confirms that Metroid Prime 4 is a next-gen game at this point, and it's not going to come out for the Switch. But I could be wrong, because Nintendo is good about their word. You know, they said Bayonetta 3 was going to come, and it did. Every game that they said was going to come has come. Even something like Everybody Want to Switch, which I don't think anybody really asked for, but it was still okay. But still, the matter of the fact is that the games that they have been working on have been coming out, right? And like I mentioned earlier, they did say a new Zelda game was going to come to the Wii U. Don't worry about it. And you did get Breath of the Wild. So I think the fact that they said all those years ago that Metroid Prime 4 is coming to the Switch is going to be something they're going to hold on to, and they're going to really release it on the Switch. But of course, that also depends upon Retro Studios and how much work they've actually gotten done on it, because there still isn't very much known about this game yet. But that's my thoughts on this. I don't want to make this video too long. I just kind of wanted to throw out there this idea that the Nintendo Direct is around the corner, and don't get your hopes up. Because as much as I would love to see all the games that I've talked about in previous videos of a new Donkey Kong game that's open world like Mario Odyssey was, and you know, I would love to see all the games I've talked about before for a new Star Fox and Kid Icarus and that stuff, even a new Sin and Punishment maybe. As much as all those would be really fun, I really just don't see them doing it. I just think it's better to, like, hey, yeah, Sin and Punishment Star Successor didn't really maybe do that well on the Wii. Here it is again on the Switch, and, you know, there you go. Call it a day, because now Sin and Punishment is on the NSO app, and now you get Sin and Punishment 2, and there you go. You know, or maybe we'll get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remastered to sort of build up Metroid Prime 4. Like, that's what I'm getting at, is it's not going to be too big. We're not going to get any new zany reveals. Like, we're not going to get a new Zelda, obviously. We're not going to get these big games, because I think that Nintendo is holding on to them. But realistically, before in this video, I think that if there is going to be anything new, it's going to be like a Zelda 99. Some kind of maybe a puzzle builder, where you make your own dungeons and then people go in and explore them. or just some kind of real quick NSO free app. Who really knows? But that's just my 2 cents on this matter. You're free to leave your thoughts in the comments down below about anything you think Nintendo is going to reveal at this Direct. But I'm not expecting too much. I feel like this is the last one for this console, because by the time we get to the next one in September, you might as well just show off the next console, right? Or even wait till November and do a winter reveal of the system with some launch games, and then just launch it in January or February. Or shoot, just wait till March at the end of your fiscal year, so that way when your fiscal year starts, you get a whole new console to make sales off of. But I still think that at the end, this is the last one, or maybe the September one will be. We'll have to wait and see what the next few months bring. But yeah, don't expect much. That's my 2 cents. But have a good one, everyone. See you in the next video.